President Muhammadu Buhari to visit states affected by herdsmen crisis. President Muhammadu Buhari receives Liberia's president at State House. President of the Senate directs Ad-hoc committee to visit Zamfara. Welcome to the AM News on Television Nigerian. I am Eunice Johnson. President Muhammadu Buhari is scheduled to visit states that were affected by herdsmen-related crisis. In a statement by the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the decision follows a situation report submitted to the President by security agencies. The statement says the visit is on-the-spot assessment and consultation call on the affected communities. The statement further states that President Buhari enjoins Nigerians, especially those living in the affected communities, to cooperate with security agencies to curb crimes and bring perpetrators to book. President Muhammadu Buhari has received the recently inaugurated President of Liberia, George Weah, at his office in the State House in Abuja. The Liberian president's motorcade arrived at the premises of the president's office and was received by President Muhammadu Buhari in company of some top government officials. The visit by President George Weah to Nigeria is the first since he was elected president on January 22, 2018, after defeating former Vice President Joseph Boakai of the country's Unity Party. George Weah's swearing in January marked Liberia's first democratic transition in 74 years. Meanwhile, the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has directed the Senate Ad-hoc Committee on Security to visit Zamfara and conduct an on-the-spot assessment of the crisis in the state and report back to plenary. In a tweet on his Twitter handle, the number 3 man explained that the visit has become necessary to get a first-hand assessment of the security situation in the northwest state. In his reaction to crisis and clashes in the state, Senator Bukola Saraki charged security agencies to arrest and prosecute perpetrators. The former Kwara State governor described the armed attack on communities in Zamfara state, in which 41 persons lost their lives, as senseless. In November 2017, the Senate had set up an ad-hoc committee on the review of the security infrastructure in Nigeria. The committee, which is chaired by Senate Majority Leader Ahmed Lawan, has since visited Benue State and is set to visit Zamfara State to assess the situation there. Still on Senate matters, the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has weighed in on the response of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, to the attack in Borno State. In a tweet this morning from Ghana, where he is scheduled to address the country's parliament on the occasion of the commemoration of Ghana's 25 years parliamentary democracy, Senator Bukola Saraki commended the United Nations Secretary General for his commitment to remain in the north despite the recent attack on civilians, humanitarian workers, and security operatives there. The chairman of the Nigerian National Assembly insisted that those responsible for the attack in the northeast state must be brought to book.
Tune in and stay tuned to TVN, Television Nigeria, broadcast beyond boundaries.
Thanks for staying with us. Congratulatory messages have continued to pour in, felicitating with former President Olusegun Obasanjo as he turns 81. The latest in the strings of congratulatory messages is coming from the People's Democratic Party. The party, in a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbodinyo, describes former President Olusegun Obasanjo as an outstanding nationalist and a courageous leader who has contributed to the growth and stability of the country. According to the PDP, the former president's continued engagement on national issues, especially his stance on poor governance, corruption, and deadly crises across the country, is commendable. The opposition party praised the former head of state and two-time president of Nigeria for outstanding contributions towards global peace and development. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has been commended for making Bayelsa State one of the safest states in the Niger Delta region. The Bayelsa State Governor, Siraki Dixon, said the Army Chief has ensured professionalism in the service. The governor made the remark when the army chief visited the state for the official groundbreaking ceremony of the 16th Brigade Command Barracks. In his remark, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai extolled the governor's developmental strides in infrastructure, health, education, and others, underlining the state government's support to the Nigerian army. Tukur Buratai also extolled the governor's support for the establishment and takeoff of the 16th Brigade Command Barracks in the state. The governor thanked the army chief for partnership in education and development of the Agedic Seaport project. And in business, sales of new cars in Britain fell in February 2018 for the 11th month in a row as demand for diesel vehicles collapsed almost a quarter, according to industry data. In a statement, the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders say new registration for vehicles sank 2.8% year-on-year last month to 80,805 cars. The number of newly purchased diesel-powered cars tanked 23.5% to 37,020, with demand sliding on UK government's plans to improve air quality. Consumers continue to ditch diesel cars last month for automobiles that are regarded as more environmentally friendly. While the new car market has dipped, it remains at a good level despite the drop in demand for diesel. And on the foreign scene, over 500 senior doctors in Kenya have begun strike for the reinstatement of their colleagues suspended for performing brain surgery on the wrong patient. Chairman of the Doctors Union, Sami Oroko, described the suspension of the Kenyatta National Hospital neurosurgeon as a knee-jerk reaction that will not solve underlying problems at the hospital. 3 other staff, including the ward nurse, theatre receiving nurse, and anesthetist, were also suspended. The union is demanding for an overhaul of the hospital operation, including digitization of the hospital's booking systems and setting up of more theatres. Last week, a neurosurgeon had performed brain surgery on the wrong patient. Supermarkets in South Africa have been clearing a popular sausage from the shelves after it was blamed for food poisoning outbreak that led to the death of 180 people. The government traced the listeria poisoning to the cold meat polony, but it advised consumers to avoid all ready-to-eat processed meat. Consumers and customers had descended on the factories that produced the polony to demand refund. The polony is believed to have originated in a plant owned by RCL Foods, an enterprise food factory in the northern city of Polokwane. And in entertainment news, Nigerian music sensation and multiple award-winning artist David Adedeji, popularly known by his stage name as Davido, almost tainted the joy of fans in Kigali, Rwanda. The Nigerian music maestro fell as he was climbing the stage to perform at a highly hyped concert in the Central Eastern African country. In a video that has gone viral on YouTube, Davido was pictured tumbling and rolling over in front of an expectant audience as he made to climb the stage. The singer of the popular song 30 Billion for Your Account remarked that body no be wood, in his words, in what appears as a reaction to the incident. Talking sports, Liberian President George Weah has declared that the Super Eagles of Nigeria have the potential to win the 2018 World Cup in Russia. The Liberian president, who was on a state visit to Nigeria, made the remarks after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja. George Weah, who is the only African to win the coveted World Footballer of the Year award in his playing days, advised the Nigerian Football Federation to put in place everything as the players prepare for the tournament. The former raised international footballer turned politician asked Nigeria to ensure early preparations, adding that the authorities must avoid situations that may cause players to lose concentration. Real Madrid has announced its squad list for the crucial tackle, with Paris Saint-Germain holding tonight. Team coach Zinedine Zidane decided a 24 players template for Champions League round of 16 tie. The kickoff is scheduled for 8:45 local time. To end the news bulletin, the highlights of the major stories. President Muhammadu Buhari to visit states affected by herdsmen crisis. President Muhammadu Buhari receives Liberia's president at State House. President of the Senate directs Ad-hoc committee to visit Zamfara. And that's the AM News on Television Nigerian at this hour. I leave you with this thought. An educated mind that cannot see beyond tribalism and shallow thinking is a tragedy to humanity. Thanks for staying with us. I am Eunice Johnson. Have a good day.